Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Felicia and today we're going to be talking about film lingo. Honestly, when you're on a film set, film lingo is the most confusing thing ever, especially if you haven't been on a film set before. There are so many that I could include in this video, but still that would be like a very, very long video. So I'm going to very quickly run through the ones that I've written down. I've asked some friends for help and they've put in their own suggestions, and yeah, we'll have fun and laugh at them, and we're going to go very quickly through it because there's quite a few in the list and I kind of want to give you a very, very brief explanation as to what each one is. So let's get on with it. The first one's a really simple one: TVC, MVC, or doco or doc. These are pretty much types of content. So TVC, television commercial; MVC, music video clip; doco, documentary, and I'm 99% sure that is only Australia. I don't think anywhere else really does that. As far as I'm aware, like Canada and the US tend to say doc, or I've heard people say doc. If you're from the US and maybe you've heard this before, let me know in the comments because I'd love to know what sort of lingo you guys use over there. The next one is wrangle, and no, I don't mean wrangling cattle. I mean wrangling data, and that's usually the job of one person on a set. In Australia, typically on smaller jobs, you have the second AC who is responsible for clapping the slate as well as doing data wrangling. Sometimes that can be a bit too much, and then you have a separate data wrangler. It depends on the scale of the job. It's literally just copying data from the card to the drives, and then making sure that's all copied across and filed correctly before sending the cards back to production. Neg fill and fill. Now I can actually point this one out to you because I'm using a neg fill right now. Fill and neg fill refer to the filling of the light or the taking away of the light using a black piece of material, or in my case, if I flip the camera around, using a floppy. Wedges, little bits of wood that you chock underneath your dolly or pretty much under anything really to keep it stable. Next up, apple boxes. No, not a box of apples, literally different sized boxes to prop up cameras, to use as seats, to really use for, gosh, apple boxes are versatile. Along with that, pancakes. Yeah. Every time somebody mentions that one on set, I get incredibly hungry. Even though I know exactly what it is, I still get really hungry. Basically, a pancake is a flat apple box, and they come in varied sizes as well. A floppy, a flippy, or a cutter. Floppy, big, like 6x6, I believe, or 4x4, you can get different sized ones. Big, square, effectively a frame, and it's wrapped in black material, and then you can pull the Velcroed piece of material. God, it's gonna take me a long time to explain these. You can pull the Velcroed piece of material down and it becomes even longer. It becomes double its size. You know what? My explanation was really crap. I'm just gonna include a picture. A flippy, on the other hand, is a small version of a floppy, so it's probably like a quarter of the size. And then a cutter is the same thing, but without the flopping function. Oh my god, film lingo is fucked. Something a little bit more understandable: CTB and CTO. CTB is color temperature blue, CTO is color temperature orange, and they are your ranges in terms of color correction for lamps. Hollywood wrap. That is my favorite thing to hear on a set besides martini shot and that's a wrap everybody, see you tomorrow. Now, Hollywood wrap means that you are able to leave your equipment at location and more often than not set up so that it's ready to shoot the next day. The next one is OTS, and that literally just means over the shoulder. And that is referring to the type of shot, really. Simple as that. Crafty. Now, I'm 99% sure we don't really use this one in Australia. We just say, you know, we're on lunch or whatever. Like, we don't usually say crafty, or at least I haven't heard it being used very often. It's more of an American thing, but it is craft and services. So craft and services is like food, that's it. So lunch, snacks, whatever, crafty, that's the jam. Video Village. I have spent many a day setting up Video Village. Video Village is where the clients or the director sit and watch the monitors. It usually consists of more than one monitor, if there is a multi-camera setup especially, and everybody in that area, unless they're the director, is, to be honest with you, usually not paying attention. They're usually there on business and they're meant to be watching the monitors to make sure everything's going correctly, but in most cases, I can tell you from experience, they're not really paying that much attention. They're usually flipping through a magazine or playing on their phone. Yeah. That's the T. Striking, something you say when you're turning on a light source so that if anybody is actually looking at that light source, they're not going to be blinded. Another one is strike that, put that to bed, or 86 that. That means pretty much put that away, or we don't need that anymore. Can we please swing to A, or can we please swing a battery or swing a card? It just means changing something over. It's more often than not used in camera department to swing a battery, swing a card, or swing a lens to XYZ. Going for a look means we are going to have a look at what's going on in this scene, or have a look at what's going on in this shot. Idiot check or emu. Going to do an emu or an idiot check just means you're going to go have a look at location or wherever you were shooting just to make sure you haven't left anything behind. Final checks. That's usually called over the radio when we're ready to shoot, we're ready to go, and you'll get the AD calling over the radio, final checks. Hair and makeup will usually come in and just fix up whatever they need to, make sure everything's fine, costume's fine, whatever, and then we will go for a shot. Bump in, bump out. Bump in, bump into location. Bump out of location. That's a really easy one. Oh my god, this list, man. On the day. So, when I was trying to get answers out of people as to what their favorite film lingo was, or if they had any suggestions, somebody came up with on the day. I hear this a lot on set, and I agree with this person when they responded in saying, it is the most annoying thing ever. On the day just means when we do it, and it is the day that we're doing it that it's said. Usually it's 5 minutes before we actually do it. So really, on the day means right now. The shot we're setting up for right now. Crossing means you're crossing in front of the camera and you're letting the operator or the AC know so that if they're trying to get focus or if they're in the middle of setting up a shot, you're not going to interrupt them, or at least interrupt them unexpectedly. Behind is something you'll say if you're walking behind somebody and you've maybe got something large or bulky or heavy or something that may bump into somebody, just to let them know that you're there. Now, that isn't only used in film, it's also used in hospitality and a multitude of businesses, but still, it's film lingo. The stuff that you have to know when you're on a set. Back to ones or back to firsts, that means we've done the shot, let's go again. And when they say we're going for one more, it usually does not mean we are going for one more. It means we're going for several more. It's never one more. Banana around. This is my favorite piece, well, one of my favorite pieces of lingo in film. It basically means don't walk in a straight line. It just means banana around, literally in the shape of a banana. So going from point A to point B instead of point A to point B. Often that just looks a little bit more natural on the camera. The next one is a sequence. It's sort of like what we say when we're starting to do a take. Basically, somebody will yell turn over, and that means start rolling or get ready to roll. Usually you're not rolling straight away because it's just a waste of footage. You gotta wait for sound to speed first and for the slate to get into shot before hitting roll, because then that sort of, it just keeps everything concise. So somebody will say turn over, and then sound will say speeding or speed. That means they are recording sound. And then the first AC will yell call it. The second AC will have the slate in shot ready. They'll call that, and then they'll say mark. They mark the slate, they leave, we get on with it, cut. End of story. Sometimes though, we have to do different types of slates, and that also has its own lingo. Soft sticks is usually if you have to get in really, really close to the actor, and you obviously don't want to clap those sticks really loud. You'd want to clap them quite quietly, so you'd bring the sticks really close together, and then you'd clap them quietly. Enough for sound to register it, but not enough to frighten the poor actor. Or you could do it if you want to frighten the actor, I don't know. Do whatever. I just can't guarantee you'll be hired the next time. Going for a pickup means you're not doing that particular shot all the way through. You're picking it up from the middle, or you're just doing the beginning of it, or you're just doing the end of it. Wherever it might be, it's just not a whole take. Tail. Now tail is when the slate is placed in at the end of a take instead of at the start of a take. Basically what happens is, same process, you go for a take, sound call speeding, the AC calls what it is, but they don't actually do the clapper. In fact, they're not even in shot. They go for the take, yell cut, and when they cut, hopefully, if the AC hasn't hit the button, I can tell you I have been on that end more than once where I've hit the button too early, but as long as the AC still is rolling, the second AC has to run in, get that slate in there, clap it, turn it over, call it again to sound, and then we're done. That is a tail slate. Wilds, that's something for sound. Now, if there is a particular piece of dialogue or maybe some sort of audible anything that needs to be put in post but can be recorded later, you can do that as a wild, and usually they're performed on set in a quiet room somewhere or just at the end of the day. Basically, it just means it's a piece of audio for the film without actual footage attached to it. Radio check, that's something you say when you receive your radio in the morning and you first turn it on and you've got your whole crew there, you call out radio check and they'll say good check or whatever they need to say back, usually something really silly if you're really on a delirious shoot, but yes, they'll say something back to register that you are receiving their calls and they are receiving your calls. This is a great one. 10-1 or 10-2. Now, 10-1 means you need to go to the bathroom to do number ones. 10-2 means you need to go to the bathroom to do number twos. Yeah, there's a code for that. Don't say I need to go to the bathroom, just say 10-1, 10-2, whatever, just bugger off. Well, don't bugger off because then nobody's gonna know where you are, and that's a whole other problem. So, I mean, follow the rules, come on. Copy that. There is nothing more frustrating than being on a set with a radio, somebody calling something out on the radio, asking for something, and then nobody responding. Not a single person responding. How are you to know if your call got through to them or if anybody even heard you? That's why people say, copy that. Basic rule of thumb, always respond. If somebody is talking on the radio and they're asking for something that you can do or need to do, respond to them. Make sure they know that you are doing it. Traveling or flying in. Now, traveling and flying in, that usually means something's on its way or somebody is on its way. Martini shot. Martini shot is the final shot of the day. It doesn't mean martinis are being passed around. I wish it did, but it means the final shot of the day. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was just a little bit of fun because I was meant to be going outside today to do a review on 2 Peak Design bags, that's right. 2 of them. I am a very lucky girl to be getting a hold of them. No, it's not the brand new design bag. I'm not sponsored by Peak Design and I wish I was. Hey, Peak Design. So yeah, I was meant to be going outside to do that review today, but that just obviously didn't happen because the weather got really bad. Anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my face and learn a little bit more about filmmaking in the process, remember to subscribe and I'll see you next Sunday.